in the National Football League. Week 9 begins. Used to be, week 9, you're in the second half of the season. It used to be 16 weeks. It's very easy math.
Nope. Right.
Now some teams have already played 8. Some teams have played 7. They're on byes. It makes it confusing. Math is not usually on this test. So we're just going to call week 9 still the midway point of the National Football League season, which I think it is for most.
Yeah. 17
games. Which means it's now time for my top 5 list of the first half of the season storylines in the National Football League.
High five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Rich's top 5.
All right, we always talk about season-long storyline arcs. It's a week-to-week league, as we all know, but there are stories that we want to focus on the entire season, see how it's playing out. Now we're kind of at the midway point, so let's check in on some of them. And there are some that are surprises. Number 5 on the list, Danger Russ appears to be back. Sure enough, took him 6 games to get over a calf injury that he suffered in the summer because he pushed a sled. And yes, Jets and Giants aren't lighting up many scoreboards. They are a combined 4-12. But he did make sure they weren't 6-10 combined. He beat them both. Yep. He beat them both in front of the whole country. And it wasn't like these were like 1 o'clock Eastern starts that you had to go find in your Octobox. These were all right there on your television screen, coast to coast, under the lights on NBC and the worldwide leader in sports, as they used to call. I don't know what they call them now. Why would ESPN give up on that phrase?
It's the greatest phrase ever.
I agree. Anyway, beat the Jets, beat the Giants, looked really, really good doing it. Moving around well, throwing a deep ball well, not turning the ball over except that one time he had it Peanut Tillman out. So Danger Russ appears to be back.
Black and gold. Here we go.
Number 4. Sure enough, let's not pay him. Let's not pay these guys. Why are we paying these guys? Because they're getting close to 30. We can draft one. Why to pay them? Why pay them? Well, thanks to Saquon and Derrick Henry, number 4 in my first half season-long storyline list, running backs are impact free agents too. Ask the 5-2 Eagles how Saquon's fitting in and making impactful plays. Ask the Ravens how Derrick Henry's fitting in for them. Come on now. Oh, no, we can't pay them. It's just going to cost only $2 million less than we're paying one wide receiver for a multiple-year contract in the case of Derrick Henry. Come on now. Glad they've made their points very apparent midway through this season. This is something we've been pounding the table, this one right here, about for quite some time. That's number 4. Number 3 on this list. It's simple. The all-in Cowboys are all-out disappointing in the first half. What's the all-in going to look like?
Yep.
Well, not good. You know who's been all in? Jerry Jones on 105.3 The Fan. He's been all in on those 2 guys. Although this past week he took a much sunnier disposition of like, hey, we've got the right guys. We're going to have a storybook ending. Maybe they will. And they're not the only ones having disappointing first halves. Obviously, the 2-6 Jets leap to mind going into Thursday night against the Texans. The Browns feeling good about themselves with Jameis Winston having that very important start and win against the Ravens. They're 2-6, though. The Jaguars are patently disappointing, just to name a few. But Dallas, we all thought they needed to supplement, and instead they went all in, and it ain't working so far. And they're going to Atlanta, which would love to make an example of Dallas and put a pelt on their wall. And that's number 3 on this list. Number 2, first half season storyline. The Detroit Lions are not Motown one-hit wonders. If anybody thought, well, that was a nice flash in the pan last year. Dan Campbell and the Lions last year. Nice run you had there all the way to halftime of the NFC Championship game. Nuh-uh. They are better. They are better, they are deeper, and that's even with Aiden Hutchinson now out. And I know there's a whole second half of the season to see how that will play out for their pass rush. But the Detroit Lions are the clear best team in the NFC at the halfway point, and they do not show any signs of weakness or slowing down. They have been fantastic. They lost once to Tampa Bay in week 2, and they have beaten everybody and frequently beaten up everybody. That stat that's out there is what? Teams that lose to Detroit have all lost played Detroit. Just played Detroit, right? The last 5 played Detroit.
Play Detroit, you lose the following week.
Because you're beaten up.
Hat tip Chris Long on the Green Light Podcast.
That's right. Okay. And then number 1, the top storyline of the first half of the season. The Chiefs' three-peat attempt is real, but not yet spectacular. Okay? I know.
Well done.
There's no pictures on the standings, though. I know that Mahomes had a rough October until the final game of October when he got in the end zone or threw it in the end zone. He had no touchdowns until he had a couple.
Him and Travis Kelce played their best game of the year.
And they're getting better, but what they are is a 7-0 team that situationally wins the game, snap to snap, quarter to quarter. They are going to, if they're in a position to come back on you because they have struggled, they'll do it. If they are ahead and you're trying to come back on them and you're going down the field, they will stop you. They will make the plays. They have. And anybody that's taken the cheese again, that they are looking beatable and thus will be ultimately beaten, I will push back and say, I don't think so. And those are my top 5 first half. So sure, why not?
All right, we'll get one more.
Okay, here's the one more. This is very simple.
Wow, one more.
Yeah, why not? Isn't that crazy? Very, very simple. Hey, illegal formation fans, this one's for you.
Are there fans of illegal
Clearly,
formation?
because the league is addressing them through the zebras. They must have gone through some form of, focus group, and there are some people saying, you know what, those left tackles are just not lined up properly. Those right tackles, those right guards aren't lined up properly. Those wide receivers are letting that guy be exposed, and he needs to be covered up. Through week 8 last season, the grand total of illegal formation penalties accepted, declined, and offsetting. At this point last season, 44. You want to guess how many are this year?
At least double, 90.
I'll go 90. TJ Jefferson, what do you want to do? Where do you want to go? What do you got?
I'm going to go above.
Okay.
Higher.
What do you got?
101.
Who do you trust?
The grand total of illegal formation penalties called this year is 110.
Ooh.
So, way to serve that audience of illegal formation freaks out there. NFL officiating.
Hey, let that flag fly.
Well done. And those are my top 5 NFL first half season storylines. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku Channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.